Is this going to be like toilet paper during COVID again? Can we not hoard petrol, people? Just take what you need, so then when the rest of us need some, we can get some? That is extremely concerning, Tanya. Thank you for letting us know about that. 8223 0000 is the number to call to let us know what's happening near you. You are our eyes and ears on the ground, so we're always happy to take your calls if there's something happening in your neck of the woods. We are now live on the Facebook and YouTube live stream, so jump online and say hello. And this hour, it's pretty much our train hour. We're going to be talking about a train to Mount Barker and beyond because it's come up again during the election campaign. The Greens say if they're elected, they plan for a train to go to Mount Barker. Here is the leader of the Greens, Robert Sims, on the morning's program with Graham Goodings earlier today.
Oh, look, absolutely, I think it is. And we've based some costings on work that's been done by Infrastructure SA. So it's been costed at about $700 million to complete the rail line extension. That's along the existing line, so extending it from Belair to Mount Barker with stops at Stirling, Aldgate, Bridgewater, Balhanna, and then terminating at the end of Mount Barker.
So that's the $700 million that Robert Sims has quoted. He says it is based on the costings from a Mount Barker mass transport study that was done, and it would extend the Belair line up through the hills ending at Mount Barker. When he was asked if it's actually possible,
both the Labor and Liberal parties say that this is something that can't be done. Well, we've sent a man to the moon. I'm sure we can get rail to the hills. This is something that can be worked through. And if there's a will, there's a way. And we want to see leadership from the government on this.
So what does the government think? Here was Tom Koutson-Tonis, the Treasurer, earlier today.
Train services to get to Mount Barker through Belair, the terrain is horrendously difficult. It would require tunnelling and large span bridges. The cost would be in the billions. And the state, it would not pass any benefit costs analysis. We think what we can do is improve public transport options to the Adelaide Hills. I know rail's always been a dream. We could potentially try and use the freight lines, but you can't run a clock-faced service when you've got intermittent freight lines running in between that have right-of-way. It would impact passenger services, and we couldn't guarantee timetables. So it's very, very difficult to get done.
Very difficult to get done. I think he went on to say, no, the Labor Party has no plans for a train line. But what do you think? Do you live in the hills? Do you catch a bus or do you drive at the moment? And if there was a train that linked down to the Belair line and then straight into the city, would you catch it? I'd love to hear your thoughts today. 8223 0000 is the number to call. And then I thought, if there's a train to Mount Barker, obviously there is a need for it. There are so many people in Mount Barker now. We've seen housing developments going up and they're continuing to go up. Why not continue it further? Because there are housing developments planned for Murray Bridge. I'm sure this is something that the Mayor of Murray Bridge, Wayne Thorley, has thought of before, and he joins you now. Good afternoon, Mayor.
Yeah, g'day, Stacey.
I'm guessing this is something you've considered, Mayor.
Oh, look, absolutely. Our community, like the community of Mount Barker, is very passionate to get a rail service to it, and they see the value in having a contingency capacity for when there's an accident on the freeway or something like that. I think we see that as that opportunity to have that mass transport without relying on just one system.
What about the price tag? Do you think it would be worth it? I mean, Robert Sims is quoting $700 million. You heard the Treasurer there say it would be $1 billion. That, at the end of the day, that's taxpayers paying for it. Do you think it would be worth it?
I think in the long term it will be. I think if we went back over any of our infrastructure over the last 200 years across the country, or the last 170 years for South Australia, any of those infrastructure builds have never been cost effective at the time, but they've been very effective in the long term. It's the payback time is probably a lot longer than what they were predicting. And you look at the Southeastern Freeway, it was aimed about the city of Monarto back in the 1970s, and I think we've got more than our value out of that. That would have cost a minimal amount of money compared to today's investment. And I think some of these things, the time frames we need to think in are much longer than what we probably do. They're probably 20 to 30 year investments, and I think that's some or longer even. And the value in the long term will be far exceed the short-term pain.
I guess the problem is we don't have 20 to 30-year election cycles, so
No, we don't.
not many people think that far ahead.
That's right. Look, the state government's been very kind in its commitments to us as a community up here, and in the fact that they're proposing a metro pricing bus service for us, which we are as a community, very grateful for. I think it's a great step in the journey as far as public transport go. We're part of the Greater Adelaide Regional Plan. We're predicted to grow to, by 2050, around 50,000 people. So we are going to be in the need of some really good public transport services. And to me, having an integrated one for the hills, we hear a lot about what's going up north, and I think obviously it's needed, but we need to be thinking of this eastern side as well, and I'm sure the state government is thinking of it. It's just that how do we encourage it to happen?
Well, 50,000 people by 2050 is a huge amount, especially when you think of the Southeastern Freeway at the moment and the number of cars on there, and all it takes, as we all know, is one accident in the morning peak and you're done for the day. So surely there needs to be a plan for this. I had the Transport Minister on last week, Emily Burke, and we were talking about the government's, I think I'm being polite in calling it this, plan for a rail line to the northern suburbs, into the Riverlea developments and heading out that way. And, there's not a whole lot of meat on the bone when it comes to that plan, but at least there's a plan to plan for it. There's no plan to plan for this one in the hills.
No, that's right. I think this is the thing that the proponents have been really strong on, is creating the plan, because it's not just a 1 or 2 year role to plan. It's not only creating the plan, but getting the motivation, the funding strategies and everything into place to actually make it all happen, which takes an enormous amount of time. I think that is be fundamental. I guess the view of the Royal City Murray Bridge has been that we want to be not just a place where people live, but a place where people come to work as well. So it can be a bit counter-cyclical to people working in Adelaide, that they can, instead of turning left to go to work, they turn right and come back the other way. So we see that as being a very useful strategy for our community, and because employment lands for us is probably a really simple thing to do, and the fact that we're reasonably flat, we've got really good trunk infrastructure around us, and I think we can create some great opportunities for enterprise and industry by doing that. But still needs a public transport system, and we're, like I said, we're very grateful for what's been proposed for us, the bus services, but also to have a supplementary system being started to plan for the next 50 years is something which would be particularly great.
How long does a bus take from Murray Bridge into town?
Look, probably take you longer from Glen Osmond Lights than it does take to get there. I'm being a bit cheeky, but for us to actually go from driving a normal day from Murray Bridge to Adelaide's about 47 to 49 minutes according to the clock. Yeah,
right? That's driving though.
That's driving, and buses are the modern buses which would use that bus route would be able to travel pretty much the same time, maybe a little bit longer, but not a great deal. It would be about no more than an hour to get to Glen Osmond Lights and wherever they go from there.
All right.
I think that the bus service is good, but the problem comes in if there's a failure on the freeway. It's having contingency capacity, and I think that's the thing that we need to think about. It's not like you can walk back to Mount Barker or Murray Bridge if the freeway is closed to a bus for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
You really are stuck. So I think it's about thinking about what those contingencies might look like. And I think, sure, the State Department of Transport thinks about it, but it's about how we go forward, I suppose, more than anything else.
All right, Mayor, always appreciate your thoughts. Thank you.
No worries, anytime. Thanks for having me. Very much appreciated.
That's Wayne Thorley, the Mayor of the Murray Bridge Council. What do you think about this? Do you live in the hills? Maybe you think it's a good idea. Maybe you don't live in the hills and you don't want your taxpayer money going towards it. 8223 0000. Up next, we'll check in with one of the candidates in this election who's got a plan.
World-class athletics will return to Adelaide over 2 nights on Friday and Saturday, March 13 and 14, with the 2026 Adelaide Invitational.
This is the chance to catch Aussie young gun Cam Myers and Olympians like Lockie Kennedy and Abby Caldwell compete in Adelaide in the build-up to the Com Games.
To win VIP tickets, tune in to Rowie and I from 4 p.m. weeknights or purchase your tickets at intix.com.au.
It's all thanks to Athletics SA, Australian Athletics, and of course 5AA, always Adelaide.
There's a place in Adelaide many people don't know about, and it's extraordinary. FIVEAA House at David Roche Gallery is home to over 3,000 exquisite works of art from Europe's finest 18th and 19th century makers. From gilded furniture and porcelain to sculpture and rare decorative art, every room of FIVEAA House tells a fascinating story. Located in North Adelaide and open to everyone to enjoy. Discover one of South Australia's hidden treasures. Find out more at rochegallery.com.au.
Sky City's Thursday Cash Jackpot is back, and there's $90,000 cash to be won this Thursday at 8 p.m. only at Sky City Adelaide. You have to be there to win. Join Sky City Rewards to enter the draw, and you could be $90,000 richer this Thursday. But remember, you must be at Sky City to claim the prize. Sky City, we're here for it. T's and C's at skycity.com.au/jackpot. SA licence T25/2274. New South Wales licence NTP/15347. Gamble responsibly. For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
The Adelaide Showground Farmers Market has a producer's guarantee. Everything is produced by the people selling it, so it's all local. It means you know who distilled your gin, who baked your bread, whose chooks laid your eggs, and who picked your veggies. It means less food miles, reducing your carbon footprint, and your food is tastier, fresher, and often lasts longer. Join as a member at the Adelaide Showground Farmers Market to save 10% on everything all year long. Visit us every Sunday morning from 8:30 to 12:30.
You know it before they'll admit it. Mum's not as steady, Dad stopped going out as much. They're moving slower, holding on to things, reluctantly using the walking frame. And after a fall or a hospital stay, confidence can disappear. Enable Fitness supports older people with specialised allied health services and tailored exercise programs designed to improve strength, balance and mobility. It's not a regular gym, it's clinical support that restores confidence and independence. Visit enablefitnesscentre.com.au.
Star Discount Chemist's Big Brand Vitamin Sale is here. Big brand names at low prices, including Bioglan, Blackmores, Nature's Way and more. Go in store or online to shop. Always read the label and follow directions for use. Star Discount Chemist. How can we help?
If you're looking for custom-made lounge, dining, bedroom and cabinetry all made right here in SA, Nordic Design Furniture is the place. The designs and options are endless and fully customisable. Experience the quality and finish at Adelaide's only manufacturer's showroom. See how real furniture looks and feels. It's made right here by their artisans just for you. No longer Adelaide's best kept secret. Open 7 days at 43 McGill Road, Stepney. Nordic Design Furniture. Yes, it's a Nordic.
5AA Afternoons with Stacey Lee.
20 minutes past 3 here on 5AA, and we are talking about a train to Mount Barker and beyond. Matt Schultz is the independent candidate for the seat of Carville, which takes in this area at this election. And Matt, you heard earlier on that we were going to be talking about this and called up and wanted to contribute your thoughts. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Stacey Lee, and thanks for having me on this afternoon. The rail line is something that is very important, I think, to the communities in the Adelaide Hills. Is something that I've put forward as one of my major issues that needs to be addressed. And, you know, Mount Barker's already the largest city that sits outside of Adelaide. We've got 54,000 cars going down the freeway every day, and we really need a second transport mode to help those people that are living in the hills and the wider communities in commuting to Adelaide for work.
The big thing that's always brought up as a con when you're looking at the list of pros and cons is the cost. The Greens are quoting $700 million. You heard the Treasurer there say it would be at least $1 billion. Do you think it would win out in a cost-benefit analysis?
I definitely do over a period of time. We know that Mount Barker is going to continue to grow. We're heading towards 65,000 people. The people that live in Mount Barker are largely commuting to Adelaide for work. And one of the things that shouldn't be forgotten in all of this is that we're spending as a state $15 billion on our north-south corridor. This is basically a rounding error on the money that's being spent there to help what is a growing community continue to grow and be able to access employment opportunities in Adelaide.
Where would you like to see it go? And would you support it going further to Murray Bridge, given the development that is happening there?
Yeah, definitely. There's a really good opportunity if we can get the train to Mount Barker to start with. We can then support other growing communities in Murray Bridge, in Strathalbyn. People will commute from the FIVEAA, from Goolwa, for example, to Mount Barker to take advantage of the service that's offered. And to that extent, I mean, we can use that legacy infrastructure that's in place. Yes, it will need some upgrades to the track geometry, but we have things like the passing loops that are already available that can help avoiding any conflicts that we've got with the freight train. And bringing in things like higher power to weight ratio rail cars will help reduce that travel time as well.
I've got a message from Joel in Gumaraka here. He says, myself and other locals can't get the Transport Minister to respond about getting bus services running on weekends to places like Lobethal, Balhanna, Macclesfield and Strath. Given the Minister's lax attitude about expanding bus services, I don't think there'd be any hope of a train being funded. So that's from Joel. Is that the case? Do you know? Are buses not operating on the weekends to those areas?
Yeah, that's absolutely the case, Stacey Lee, and that's also part of the commitment that I'm making to the community is to fight to have those services brought online. There are metro bus services available from those towns for commuters during the week, but only on weekdays, and nothing available on weekends. And I think one of the things that I've become aware of through my engagement with our constituents is that there's definitely capacity in the public transport system. There's underutilised services that could be repurposed to actually support adding more beneficial services. And these are the things that Hills residents are fighting for. They're asking for consideration to be given to give them opportunity to utilise public transport systems that are costing us money but aren't being potentially used to the best of their ability.
All right. Well, appreciate your thoughts this afternoon, Matt. Thank you.
Thanks, Stacey Lee.
Matt Schultz, independent candidate for Carville at the election on March 21. Sam in Littlehampton has called in. Hi, Sam.
Hi, how are you, Stacey?
Good, good. Thanks for waiting.
That's okay. I, as a resident of Mount Barker for 15 years and also a local councillor for nearly 8 years, and just noting I'm speaking as a resident, not on behalf of council, but I was really disappointed to hear the interview this morning with Minister Koutsantonis, where apparently all the people in Mount Barker, they all head to Murray Bridge to work, and the freeway's got capacity. So I put up a Facebook post and it's just gone a bit berserk. But as someone who does drive down the freeway nearly every day, 70% of the people who live in Mount Barker head down the hill. And you mentioned it earlier that there's all these announcements about, the rail corridors, proposed rail corridors, but then there's concern about the South Eastern Expressway. A lot of investment and planning went into that. But it feels like Mount Barker, we're just the big mistake that we just get ignored. There's no commitment, no nothing that is coming our way. So it was really refreshing to hear that, Robert Sims and also another candidate, Matt Schultz, for our area have actually identified that we do need more than just quick fixes. An extra lane on the freeway for a certain amount of distance isn't going to help. I was stuck on Glen Osmond Road for 50 minutes yesterday. So I think
yes,
to hear that,
I think I was stuck in that as well, Sam. So
it takes forever. And I mean, if you can put a train under the English Channel, I'm sure someone can manage doing a train from, Murray Bridge would be ideal, down into the city.
Okay.
If people had that attitude, the eastern states, no one would be able to get anywhere. So we need people with courage and a bit of foresight and who can see beyond election cycles to actually go, Mount Barker's, the government of the time created this problem, but no one's willing to stand up and actually go, okay, let's help.
All right. Thank you for the call. It seems we are the station for Mount Barker councillors because another one is listening. Ian has called in. Hello, Ian.
Good afternoon. Look, I've been a councillor in Mount Barker for 16 years, but like Sam, I'm not representing council with my views. But the main avenue I think that needs to be pursued at the moment, where we can argue whether the train is viable or not currently, but it won't be a future at any stage in the option if in the future, if we don't secure land now for park and ride facilities and train stations inside Mount Barker, inside the growth areas. We've got, I thought that it was good forward planning for the state government to announce they're going to secure land for the Northern Corridor, but in Mount Barker we've actually already got the land, we've already got the railway line, but we don't have land adjoining the railway line in the growth areas for these facilities that are needed, and we won't be able to add them in the future if this land is developed for housing. So the state government needs to secure land now so that it will at least be an option to have an alternative to the freeway going into the future.
That's a good point. Thank you for your thoughts. I mean, we've seen the way property prices have gone up over the last 2, 5, 10, 20 years. If you don't secure the land now, it'll even be more expensive in 20 years. Thank you. Ian, another councillor on the Mount Barker Council. Yeah, we've got the monopoly on Mount Barker Council is listening. There you go. Bruce is in Salisbury East. Bruce, I'm assuming you're not a Mount Barker councillor?
No, I'm not. But let me set a few facts straight, because everyone that's been on that are so-called experts don't really know what they're talking about. To start with, if you ran trains up through to Mount Barker now, they wouldn't be able to go into Adelaide Railway Station.
No, I think this plan is to go to Belair.
The track is different.
No, this plan is to go to Belair.
No, but I'm talking about the gauge of the track is different.
But this plan is to get the train to go to Belair train line and meet up there and then go into the city from Belair.
There's no way you can. Because to start with, if you think that the north-south corridor is expensive, try going up through the Adelaide Hills and see how much that will cost you. And the whole thing is that where are you going to go once you get to Mount Barker? Because you won't be able to go to Murray Bridge because, as I said, the track gauge is different.
Okay. All right. Thank you for the call, Bruce. Appreciate it. That's Bruce in Salisbury East. What do you think? 8223 0000 is the number to call. Diane says, my husband was the station master in Bridgewater when the rail line closed down in 83. People were not using it, hence the closure. We were forced to move. It would be good to see it back going through Murray Bridge. Thank you for that. Andrea, my son and daughter live up that way. Better community bus service to bus points in Mount Barker and definitely a train. Long overdue. Keep your thoughts coming. 8223 0000 is the number to call. And after these news headlines, you're going to hear from the federal member for Mayo, Rebecca Sharkey, because if this is ever going to be on the cards, ever at all, and it doesn't sound like either of the major parties have much appetite for it, but if at any point in the future it is, I'm sure it will need some federal funding. So has she brought it up with her federal counterparts?
This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Good afternoon, Mel Usher with the 3:30 headlines. Dennis Cometti, a sports commentator for 6 decades, has died aged 76. Several hundred Australians are currently en route to Sydney from Dubai on an Emirates flight. Experts say a drop in the number of breast cancer-related deaths is thanks to better screening and earlier diagnosis. And in sport, new AFL chairman Craig Drummond won't be drawn on his preference regarding the grand final time slot. The 5AA forecast, mostly sunny this afternoon, sunny tomorrow 27. Right now it's 24 degrees. We'll have more news at 4 on 5AA, always Adelaide.
the events that shaped our state.
A truck ploughed through the intersection of Glen Osmond and Portrush Roads, hitting 7 cars and a bus.
It's tipped over and it's hit 4 or 5 cars.
This intersection has enormous trucks going through it and we don't feel safe.
FIVEAA. Always Adelaide for 50 years.
Don't miss Mazda's final 2025 plate clearance. It's your last chance to get incredible drive-away deals across select 2025 models, like the top-of-the-range Mazda BT50 SP, now from $68,990 drive away. Or get the job done with the worksite-ready BT50 XT 4x4 dual cab from $55,990 drive away. Be quick, limited stock available. Head into your local dealer today. The final Mazda plate clearance ends soon. Terms, conditions and exclusions apply. See Mazda.com.au for details.
Here's another tyre safety message from Tyre Power. If your steering is vibrating or pulling to one side, it's a sign you need a wheel alignment. So for safety's sake, get the experts to check it out. Visit tyrepower.com.au or call 13 21 91 for your local independent owner.
SA Seafood isn't just safe, it's the best. Best when it's bought fresh from your local supermarket or fishmonger. Best shared with friends over a long lunch. And when you're at the beach, best from the fish and chip shop, with a little bit of chicken salt. Buying SA Seafood is the best thing you can do for our fishing industry. It helps our state thrive, and nothing tastes better. So buy the best. Buy SA Seafood.
A message from the Government of South Australia.
We're all feeling the squeeze under Labor. Power bills are up 43% in 4 years. We have the 6th least affordable housing in the world. And our debt is nearing $48 billion. This election, stop Labor's cost of living squeeze. Vote Liberal.
Authorised by AHIDE Liberal Party only.
Melbourne International Flower Show each year is something special and one of the world's best. Holiday Wonders has created a hosted 5-day tour with transfers, return flights from Adelaide and 4 nights at the Vibe Hotel South Bank with breakfast each morning. Included this year is the fabulous 3-hour Q train journey with a wonderful 5-course gourmet lunch. Holiday Wonders takes care of everything. Call now and discover the great value tour cost for seniors. Secure your place. Book now at holidaywonders.com.au.
It's barbecue season, and the Gas Shop want you to have a safe summer. If you have a gas bottle, make sure it's not out of date. Check hoses and gas fittings for leaks. Keep a fire blanket or extinguisher handy, and never use water to put out a fat fire. Don't start summer with a bang. Visit the Gas Shop for outdoor kitchens, barbecues, parts, safety checks and advice. Heating, cooking, comfort. Turn on to the Gas Shop. 161 Unley Road, opposite Target.
I've found Homemade takes the stress out of managing home care services.
Hi, how may I help?
And with their lower rates, they make quality aged care affordable, which is why they're Australia's best value home care. Search Homemade support today.
Always informative. 5AA. Always Adelaide. 5AA Afternoons with Stacey Lee.
25 minutes to 4 here on 5AA. We're talking about whether or not we need a train to the Adelaide Hills and beyond, even potentially to Mount Barker. It's been a proposal by people over the years, many a person is probably the correct terminology. Apologies. Today, though, it's an idea by the Greens. Robert Sims has spoken about it today. Whether or not it's possible, I don't mind this grab.
Both the Labor and Liberal parties say that this is something that can't be done. Well, we've sent a man to the moon. I'm sure we can get rail to the hills. This is something that can be worked through. And if there's a will, there's a way. And we want to see leadership from the government on this.
If there's a will, there's a way. We've sent man to the moon. Why can't we get a train to the hills? But what would it cost? And if there is any appetite for this in the future by any state government, I'm sure they would be asking for federal money. Rebecca Sharkey is the federal member for the seat of Mayo and joins you now. Good afternoon, Rebecca Sharkey.
Good afternoon. Good to be with the Liberal Party's main platform for the Hills. And then when they were elected, they dumped it. And really, you know, it's been very hard to keep the momentum going. But what has kept the momentum going, I think, is the community. Many who remember when we did have rail railway in the hills in the 1980s are saying, well, why can't we have this again? A couple of things would need to happen. First of all, you need to have, whoever forms government, likely it will be the Malinowskis government again, make a commitment that this is something they want to see. And that's been a real sticking point. And, of course, the state Liberal opposition hasn't shown any commitment either. So for me to then go to the federal government and try and get some money, I actually really need that commitment at a state government level first. The argument that's been thrown back to me is, we don't have the population yet that would need it in the hills. While I dispute that, and I think we do have enough, and we really only have one road in a high-risk bushfire area to get out of, and that being the Southeastern Freeway. And, every second day there's an accident on there. It really does. It's a clogged up system. And then, when you get to Glen Osmond Road, that's where I think it really banks up and where you could really get value out of a railway. But the population of not just Mount Barker but Murray Bridge is going to go absolutely gangbusters. There's going to exponential growth in the next 3 decades for both areas. Another 44,000 residents are predicted for Murray Bridge. Now, many of those are likely, I think, going to be commuting down past Mount Barker and all the way down to the city. And then, of course, the growth forecast for Mount Barker in 20 years' time is 64,000 people. So we are talking about very large populations, and we really need the state government and during this election period for one of the two major parties to at least make a commitment to the people of the hills that they want to see this. And Stacey, I'm fairly agnostic. It doesn't have to be heavy rail. I'm up for light rail. Oban works exceptionally well in the northeastern suburbs. We just need some sort of passenger corridor, aside from people piling in their cars. A separate dedicated lane that's entirely separate for kind. I think they call them trackless trains.
Mm.
Part of the great challenge was that when the hyphen tunnels were put in, that was before they decided that they were going to rapidly enlarge Mount Barker. So the hyphen tunnels went in around the year 2000. That happened around 2006, 2007, that they were going to rapidly increase the size of Mount Barker, and then, of course, subsequently it's been Murray Bridge. So the actual infrastructure we have now would make it very, very difficult, but I don't think it's beyond capacity to be done. I think we need to get freight out of the hills. If we do that, we then do open up a natural corridor with the current freight line. That may happen without any involvement at a state level anyway, because there is a lot of work being done in the federal parliament around basically creating a bypass that goes from Melbourne all the way across in mid-north South Australia and heads over to Perth, so they can double stack. And we can't double stack through the hills with our heritage listed tunnels. But we really need some planning, and it's so frustrating retrofitting all of the infrastructure needs that we need across the hills, particularly Mount Barker now, which we're doing with pools and hospitals and everything else, because it costs so much more money. And we really should be doing this now in preparation for, 20 years' time, when, being on the freeway, we're going to look back at today and go, wow, the freeway used to flow pretty well.
Yeah, it's a good point you make, and that's the reason we're in this problem now. You mentioned the Hyson tunnels because there wasn't much forward thinking about how much the populations would grow by in the future. There wasn't that future planning.
No.
So, yeah. It would take
often when I'm...
I was just going to say
when I drive down... Oh, sorry.
Okay, I was just going to say it would take a brave government to try and think in a longer period of time than the 4-year election cycles we have.
Yeah. Absolutely. And governments did that in the past. You look at Playford and his vision, we would not have had the networks that we have across metropolitan South Australia if it wasn't for his vision to land bank and keep that land for future road infrastructure. And we really need... I look at the Hyson tunnels when I'm driving down, I think, oh, my goodness, how good would it have been even if it was just a vacant space right now, but there was sort of a tunnel in the middle that was just empty now, not having cars down it and waiting for some kind of, rail. And then, of course, the other issue is what do you do when you get down to the bottom of the freeway? The current freight line, if we go back to the 80s when we used to get the rail up the hill, it weaves through Blackwood and it takes a very, long way to get up to Mount Barker. So we need to think, I think, a little bit more broadly about what we could do. I'd like to see, like I've seen in many nations, that we could even have some kind of elevated system when you get to Glen Osmond Road that goes above the traffic or even, below. It just seems that we are very happy, state governments right across Australia are very happy to carve up land, put more and more housing in, but the infrastructure needed, both the transport infrastructure and the social infrastructure needed, is always an afterthought. And what we really need with this, and now is the perfect time, is for this to be put as a commitment at the very front of the queue.
All right, Rebecca Sharkey, thank you for your thoughts this afternoon.
Thank you. Good to be with you.
You too. Federal member for the seat of Mayo. Let's go to Phil in West Lakes now. What do you think about this, Phil?
Oh, hi, Phil. Hi. Thanks for your time. I was interested to listen to Rebecca, and the very first thing I would like to say is that I would love to be able to talk to her and have a good conversation with her and work through solutions. I've been involved with transport and tourism for over 50 years, and I made an assessment last year as to what would be feasible and what's not, what practical ways we can work around this. See, Mount Barker, it's just a symptom of a greater problem, and there's a number of ways we can look at solutions, not only for Mount Barker, but for Murray Bridge, and for the northern suburbs.
So what was the solution according to your assessment, Phil?
Well, the immediate solution would be to use the current standard gauge and re-gauge that 5 kilometres from Mount Barker Junction into Mount Barker. Now, there are some issues with the rail cars.
Can you explain that in layman's terms, Phil? I'm not a trained kind of gal. What does that mean?
Yeah. Look, we do have problems in South Australia, and it's been a major problem all across this country, and we need to slowly unwind the problem of 2 different rail gauges.
Oh, okay. So you're talking about for freight and for passenger.
And for passengers as well. Yeah.
All right. So because at the moment they've got the freight line, but we're all talking about the passenger line, so it would take some working out in that respect. Okay. Thank you for your thoughts, Phil. Appreciate it. Let's go to Grange now. Hello, Mark.
Howdy, Stacey. Look, I reckon the government has not got this money, right? My proposal is from Mount Barker to Belair, they've got 1 double-decker bus at this present moment. If they could get 2 or 3 double-decker buses, get transfers from Mount Barker to Belair, and you can get straight onto the train, because it's just impossible. The money, there's no money there, and I can't see it in the future. And that's one way you can do it, by catching a bus to the train station and going to the city.
That's a bit of a roundabout way, though, Mark. I mean, getting a bus to Belair and then getting on a train from Belair to the city, you're kind of bypassing the city in some ways.
Well, you're cutting through the traffic, you see.
The traffic is bad,
If you go through Upper Sturt Road, that's the way you can do it. But they have to check those buses if they're strong enough to take those roads. But that's my suggestion. There's no way. There's no money. It's impossible. I just can't see the government doing this.
No, I'm with you. Don't think they will. It is a lot of money. You're right. Okay, well, that's not a bad idea. Double-decker buses. What do you think? Mark has a good idea on the text line. What about a flying fox? Would that be cheaper from Mount Barker to Adelaide? You know what? Get your thoughts in. We've got 13 minutes left of the show, and I forgot I've got tickets to give away today, so I've got 3 lots of double passes. Get on the phone now. If it's not a train and if it's not more buses, what is it? Maybe you think it's double-decker buses like Mark. Maybe you think it's a flying fox. Let me know. 8223 0000 is the number to call. Tickets to give away for the best callers.
Get out of bed with Ned and Sam. That's 5AA Early Breakfast, live from 5 with Ned McHenry and Sam Dado. Thanks to Peppers, SA-developed truck strength cleaning products, keeping your logistics fleet clean. Search Peppers Truck Strength.
Adelaide's local, trusted and truly connected talkback radio station. 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Star Discount Chemist's Big Brand Vitamin Sale is here. Big brand names at low prices, including Bioglan, Blackmores, Nature's Way and more. Go in store or online to shop. Always read the label and follow directions for use. Star Discount Chemist. How can we help?
Are your energy levels not what they used to be? Are you constantly dragging yourself to get through the day? Caruso's NMN 500 to the rescue. Caruso's NMN 500 is a one-a-day formula that helps your body produce NAD+, a coenzyme vital for cellular energy production that naturally declines as you age. So if you're tired of feeling tired, try Caruso's NMN 500 today from leading pharmacies and health stores. Always read the label and follow the directions for use.
Babe, just so you know, I've invited a couple of mates over to watch the game.
Wait, how many is a couple?
Just 16.
What?
Stock up for the footy season at Sip and Save. More rewards members can grab a Bundaberg UP Rum and Cola 10-pack for just $45.99 or $48.99 for non-members. And you could win your share of up to $150K. Plus, Cooper's Pale Ale 24 packs at just $59.99. More rewards. Join now for free at sipandsave.com.au. Prices may vary in country areas. See website for T's and C's.
Sip and Save.
There's more in store. You can rent a little, you can rent a lot.
Whatever you're doing, wherever you're going, you can rely on Red Spot to get you there. We're the all-Aussie, family-owned car rental company in airport terminals and cities across Australia with a new fleet and 100% local Aussie service. And right now, Red Spot is giving you spot-on savings of 15% off every vehicle at every location. Book direct and save at redspot.com.au/radio. T's and C's apply.
Red Spot.
What's worse than running out of gas during the Christmas barbecue or the gas burner cutting out right as you're cooking your favourite steak?
Come on.
At Max Built Trading Co, we've been keeping barbies sizzling and meat medium rare since 1946. From refilling gas bottles to those hard-to-track down spares for your gas burner, Max Built has quality products and reliable solutions for all situations. Visit us at Research Road, Paraka, or head to our Facebook page for more.
At Town & Country Mattresses and Beds, we custom build comfort. From electric adjustable beds to aged care and NDIS supported options, we've been helping South Aussie sleep better for over 30 years. And because we offer factory direct prices, you'll get more for your money. Plus, we'll beat any written quote. Visit our family-owned team today at 68 Research Road, Paraka. Town & Country Mattresses and Beds. Sleep made personal. Find your better night's sleep at Town & Country Mattresses and Beds.
For over 45 years, Statesman Windows, a third-generation South Aussie family-run business, has helped home renovators and builders bring design, charm and natural light into their homes. With industry-leading turnaround times, Statesman Windows continues to offer value for money, backed up by great service and advice right across Metro and regional South Australia. For windows when and where you want them, call Statesman Windows.
Windows when and where you want them. Windows when and where you want them.
5AA Afternoons with Stacey Lee.
That is to win the tickets to go to Dancing Queen, the ABBA tribute show as part of Adelaide Fringe. Get on the phone now if you'd like to head along. 8223 0000 is the number. But I still have other Fringe tickets to give away, and I'm asking you today, what would be your idea for the Adelaide Hills? I'm inspired by Mark on the text line who said, why don't they just build a flying fox? From Mount Barker to Adelaide, it would be cheaper. I like that, Mark. Mark also called in and suggested double-decker buses to Bel Air, so I don't mind that idea. Ian is in One Tree Hill. Ian, you've got an idea?
Stacey, you've got a train line there already. The overlander goes up and down, so I'm not quite sure about the gauge of the line. The Freelander used to go into the city before it was based out of Keswick, so I'm not sure about that with your previous callers. You'd have to look at how many freight trains come down that road or go up that road every day and try and have a service in the morning, a service in the evening, put long trains on it and work between the gaps of the freight lines. Surely that's got to be better and take a few thousand cars off the road every day as a short-term idea anyway.
Yeah. Look, I too am like you. I don't understand the ins and outs of the differences between freight and passenger trains. I would love to have that sort of brain, but I don't. But it does make sense to me. We've got a train line there already. Surely there's a way to adjust it. I don't know. Maybe it is too difficult. I'm happy to be corrected on that. Thank you for the call. Adrian in Gillies Plains, hello.
Hello, Stacey. I'm just ringing up to say I don't want to see towns like Nairn and the Lobethal and Woodside become ghost towns because they stopped the railway, because the railways ran those towns years ago, and I don't want to see those towns just give way to Mount Barker and become ghost towns.
All right. Thank you, Adrian. I appreciate your thoughts. 8223 0000 is the number to call. I have some text messages here. This person says, a flying fox. What a great idea. Sean in Hillbank says, why don't the government do what they did in The Simpsons and build a monorail? Monorail. Thank you, Sean. Yes, I like that one. This person says planes and helicopters. I mean, why not? If a train will cost $1 billion, you could just shuttle people in private jets. It's a great idea. And this text message from Tia and Mark. What about a cable car system from Mount Barker to the city? I like that one. And it's along the same lines as Sean, a chairlift going to every Adelaide Hills town. There you go. Oh, Jess has a good idea. Paragliding. Just have a paragliding station at the top of the hill. Come down. Where would it land? On the Torrens? And you can just land where you want. Top of buildings? You could just do like a paragliding landing pad, like a helicopter landing pad. You have to avoid the RA though. You can't get in the way of that one. Yeah. I see absolutely no issues with that, Jess. I think it's a great idea. Andrew on the text line. The best way not to get caught in the traffic is don't move to Mount Barker. All right. Thank you, Andrew. Very helpful. Appreciate that. And this person, Solomon's Magic Carpet. Yep. Great. All fantastic ideas. Well done. Congratulations, Gabby in Grange. You are heading along to Dancing Queen, the ABBA tribute show. So grab your sequins, round up your dancing queens for an unforgettable night of ABBA-fueled excitement. I am sure you will love that, Gabby. Well done to you. And you know what? I'm giving some tickets. I'm going to give Mark in Elizabeth, for his Flying Fox idea, some tickets to go and see Furnace and the Fundamentals at Gluttony. Mark, you started this. I'm blaming you. So congratulations to you. You've won a double pass. It's at Gluttony, Rymel Park, home of the biggest shows this fringe. You can get your tickets at gluttony.net.au. And Mark in Grange as well. You win the double pass to go and see Stephen K. Amos. You can head to the Garden. It's on from the 6th till the 15th of March. Tickets are at adelaidefringe.com.au for your idea of the double-decker buses. Thank you to everyone for your calls and your texts today. It's been a big day. Whole hour on trains. I love that. Hope you were sitting on the train listening to that and enjoying it, or maybe you were sitting in your car on the way up the freeway heading home out of the city thinking, I wish she'd stop talking about a train. I'd love to be sitting on a train right now. If you were, I do apologise. Make sure you tune in tomorrow, because tomorrow we are going to be broadcasting from the Discovery Princess cruise ship at Outer Harbour. So make sure you stay listening. This is a huge cruise ship. They're coming into dock at Outer Harbour, bringing thousands of people with them. They're off to explore other parts of South Australia, and I cannot wait to get on board. I'm told there are there are more than 10 restaurants on board, bars. I'm hoping we'll find a sun deck somewhere we'll be able to broadcast from. So make sure you tune in. We'll tell you everything that's happening on deck on the Discovery Princess, but also for the passengers on board, the thousands of people it's bringing to Adelaide. What are they doing? What will they be doing on land? What are they doing to help our economy? So I'm looking forward to bringing you all of the sights and sounds from the Discovery Princess tomorrow from 1 o'clock.
Coming up next, Adelaide's only local sport show. It's the very latest in sport, live from Adelaide. Enjoy the crisp, clear digital sounds now with the 5AA Player app. Always streaming,